If I were leader of the free world, the first issue I would address would be, actually, let's hold off on that for 1 second. How about I ask you some questions first? Such as, are you someone who is jingoistic towards America? And do you know what jingoistic means? Do you know what quantum mechanics and string theory are? Can you spell deoxyribonucleic acid without messing up? Have you memorized Richard III from Shakespeare and can recite it on cue? If you can do one, some, or all of these, I would assume you're an educated man or woman. You know what it is like to logically compare and solve problems and understand theories. You have opinions, and you have basis to back those opinions up. You're today's future and yesterday's tomorrow. You hope to make this world turn around by making and engineering cars, joining wires and metals into sophisticated machines, or even just selling some tchotchkes to help stimulate the economy we depend on. And now, if I were leader of the free world, the first issue I would personally address would be education. After all, do you remember who created our Constitution? It was some of those brilliant and educated minds in the world, all going into a single room and working out their problems together. Men like Benjamin Franklin, Alexander Hamilton, John Dickinson from Pennsylvania, and so many, many more. And the outcome of those men, reached over 200 years ago, has stood the test of time, seeing as it is still a working document to this date. After World War II, the world needed help deciding what was the right thing to do dealing with the destroyed Europe and the Pacific. And they came up with an idea, a solution, the Marshall Plan, which has prevented an outbreak of another world war and helped create some of the strongest economies in the world out of those destroyed former dictatorships. Now, many of you may also be thinking of such issues like the environment, space exploration, even poverty. If you're thinking that right now, that is probably because you are well informed with the news and you know how the world works. You may even have your own opinions on how issues could be solved. Since you're educated, you have these ideas and these opinions, whereas someone who isn't as educated in the world may have much less of a thought towards issues not concerning him or her at that very moment. Sir Francis Bacon once said, "Knowledge is power." And I agree 100%, because knowledge is power, and knowledge can best be reached through education. So my belief is that we need to reach out to people who didn't get a great education at a young age and catch children when they are young to help them function well so they can become a contributing part of society, yet still original and independent. Richard Florida, a professor at the University of Toronto, has used the Gallup Healthways Well-Being Index and has found a strong correlation between human capital, which is defined as the number of adults with a bachelor's degree or higher, and well-being, which can be described as the level of happiness. So, once a greater percentage of the world is educated and strong-minded, we can battle and fix the environment, prevent poverty, possibly forever, and we can even design and create the perfect space shuttle to travel to the farthest reaches of our galaxy, make a satellite that is powerful enough to see the beginning of time, or invent something that could act as a force field against solar flares bursting from the sun. Maybe we could even come up with a way to use renewable energy faster, cleaner, and more efficiently instead of relying on oil and fossil fuels. So, if I were leader of the free world, the first issue I would address would be education. I would address education because it is the right thing to do. You'll have governments who need bright minds to solve problems they're facing, such as when an earthquake challenged a country's infrastructure, and they would help the animals and plants, environment, because those brilliant minds will be figuring out where the problems are and why they're occurring and how they will be solved. And although education is not a quick fix to all of our problems, I know it is the perfect solution to everything, because when brilliant minds clash, only good can come of it. I know for a fact that if we had to give up everything except education, eventually those brilliant minds, all thinking, and striving and working together will at one point make something perfect out of us and out of mankind.